If you were on the internet in the mid-2010s, there was almost no escaping the Smash 4 hype train. It's honestly very hard to quantify exactly how excited people were for this game. There was almost 2 years of build-up before the 3DS version dropped, and that meant that there was plenty of time to speculate on the final product. These days, a long hype cycle is normal. Games like Elden Ring or Starfield have certainly turned heads in the months leading up to their release, but no game piques the interest of gamers quite like Smash does, and that's likely because of the possibility that your favorite game will have a rep in the next installment. It's a celebration of video games, after all. When a character is added to Smash, they're forever etched into the annals of gaming history, a spotlight permanently placed on their series of origin. And for those that love these worlds dearly, the attention that Smash draws means more people to share their love with. So when Smash 4's announcement showed off Mega Man, the possibilities were endless. Brawl had given us Sonic and Snake, but Mega Man meant that this wasn't a one-time thing. They were doing it again. Anyone could be in Smash. Bayonetta, Ryu, Doom Guy, even Minecraft Steve were contenders. Okay, that last one probably not, but wait, oh my god! Yeah, anyone was possible. Even little-known RPG characters. And if you were me or one of the 10 other people who had played Xenoblade before Shulk's Smash reveal, then you were cheering for this guy to get into the game. For me especially, I was, and still am, in love with Smash. The thought of being able to play as a Xenoblade character in a fighting game as popular as this was exhilarating. You may not realize how unlikely it felt at the time though. Xenoblade was barely even relevant internationally. It had come to the West by the absolute skin of its teeth, and with the floodgates for third-party characters blown wide open, was Shulk, this guy from a random, albeit first-party Wii RPG, going to stand any chance against someone like Pac-Man? That's like if Sakurai made Wii Fit Trainer into a Smash character. Okay, that's a bad example. That's like if Sakurai made the diver from Endless Ocean into a Smash character. Yeah, there we go. But it happened. The Shulk reveal trailer dropped, and it was official. He was in the game, so I'm sure you expected me and the other 10 Xenoblade fans to be hyped as hell, and don't get me wrong, we were. It was a dream come true despite Shulk's strange personality. Seriously, why is he like this? The problem was, we kinda already knew he was gonna be in the game. We actually found out a little over a week before the trailer dropped, and it was crazy to say the least. As far back as Melee, Smash has had leaks. The problem is that there are so many of them that it's usually impossible to tell which ones are accurate. Some turn out to really hit the mark, and others are just so outlandish that they end up catching your eye. There's the classic Sonic and Tails and Melee hoax, of course. You might also be familiar with Smash Ultimate's Grinch leak or Smash 4's fake Rayman leak. I know that I was 100% fooled by the Rayman one. Artsy Omni really outdid himself. That one was separate from the Rayman ice theory, by the way. That claimed that this shape inside the ice was actually Rayman, and that in a future trailer he'd break out and join the roster. It was definitely not true, but such a funny idea to me. Help, let him out! He's still stuck in there. But for every few dozen fake leaks, there's one with a kernel of truth. And for that, look no further than Smash 4's ESRB leak. On August 19th, 2014, during a Smash speculation discussion on 4chan's V-board, an anonymous user posted this screenshot. This image compiled in assigned confirmation statuses to past, present, and future Smash fighters. Characters like Ice Climbers, Young Link, and Pichu were crossed off, seemingly indicating that they would not be returning for the series' next outing. Mewtwo had a question mark placed over him, which would later be explained by his late inclusion in the roster as Smash's first ever DLC fighter. The most interesting part of this post was that placed at the very bottom of the image were 4 brand new, unconfirmed fighter renders: Bowser Jr., Duck Hunt, Dark Pit, and Shulk. In between the cavalcade of slurs, more pictures of the 3DS version were posted, revealing zoomed out versions of the renders shown in the first image. Both Duck Hunt and Ness were put on full display, and these were definitely original. Duck Hunt's was, at least. There wasn't a detailed 3D model of the duck and dog from Duck Hunt like this one out there. They were just such strange characters to imagine someone faking. This only lent more credence to the credibility of the leak. The entire character select screen was eventually revealed too. More screenshots drew more skepticism. Some claimed that the leak was fake because it looked like Mr. Game & Watch was reaching into Wario's portrait. Dr. Mario had been compared to an already existing fan-made render, and most hilarious of all, people were saying that Shulk's face looked way too much like Little Max, and the person who created it must have just used his render as a base. Yeah, I mean, I guess they sorta look similar, but they just happen to be looking in the same direction. This GIF was reposted for many years to come, and for a while after this, a common response to basically any anime-styled Smash character being leaked was that their face looked too much like Little Max. Oh crap guys, they're right, he looks just like him! Let's be real here. If you removed the hair from basically every one of the Fire Emblem characters, it would be near impossible to tell them apart unless you were looking really closely. At this point, more images had begun appearing all across the internet on other forums, in particular GameFAQs and Smashboards, and discussion really started heating up. You could almost say that they really had a good rhythm going. Pictures of trophies, various menus, the full stage select, and actual matches containing Shulk were popping up. There was still a chance that this was all a load of hot dog water though. After all, anyone could make convincing screenshots like these. The images aren't even that great of quality either, so any errors made in creating them could be easily masked. What it would really take was for there to be some sort of full motion video of this stuff. Seeing Shulk actually move would definitely... Alright, and there's a video. As soon as these clips were posted, all discussion on the legitimacy of these leaks basically went out the window. It was extremely apparent that all of this content was coming directly from an official version of Smash 3DS. This was not fake. This was the real deal. Look at him go! He's activating the Monado arts and everything. If this was a fake, the people who made this had created enough high-detail custom assets to fake nearly an entire round of Smash 4. That was such an unlikely course of events, and this was enough to convince people. The leaked footage that was posted to YouTube also was removed by Nintendo, so that basically confirmed it all on its own. But if you were still waiting for official confirmation from Nintendo, you wouldn't have to wait long. 10 days later, Shulk's reveal trailer dropped alongside Xenoblade 3D's announcement during a Japanese Nintendo Direct on August 29th. And Shulk had the same exact moveset as in the video. It was at that moment that quite possibly the biggest Smash leak ever, the ESRB leak, was confirmed real. The reason why it's called the ESRB leak is apparent in several of the screenshots. The in-game username of the leaker was ESRB0083, which suggested that the reason this person had access to this build was because the ESRB was doing a ratings check on the game. This would sort of be confirmed in an investigation done by DigiKnow Gaming years after the fact. They contacted some employees at the ESRB, and according to them, it was actually the child of a Nintendo of America employee who leaked these screenshots. The parent was working in the localization department, and their child gained access to the 3DS version and shared the images with their friends. It would seem that the friends were unable to keep this secret, and after the leak made the rounds in private DMs, someone decided to post it for some internet clout, and the rest is history. Unfortunately for this breach of Nintendo's NDA, the employee was fired. Somebody was actually able to say, "My dad worked at Nintendo," and they got them fired for it. Aw, geez. I mean, at least leave Dad's username off the screenshots, dude. Regardless, this was all very exciting for the Xenoblade community, and me, of course. My special, obscure little RPG character was in Smash.
Yippee!
When I saw Shulk in those leaks, I was jumping up and down for joy, but I quickly realized that I had kinda ruined the surprise for myself. I chose to click on those forum posts, and while I don't exactly remember how I came upon them, I'm sure that the ball was entirely in my court. I can only imagine what it would have been like to watch the trailer completely blind and see my blonde boy / Bowser from beyond the barricade of bulky brush. I don't know why I said it like that. Pyra and Mithra's reveal was definitely similar, but the build-up was a lot slower, so there was more time to process what was happening in the trailer. Shulk's was so fast and out of the blue. I know I've said it a few times, but there was really no reason to believe that Shulk would be in this game. Such an incredible long shot. But we're here. Xenoblade fans truly do owe Smash a lot for bringing more attention to the series. We've come such a long way, and after all this time, it's nice being able to share these memories with you all. Enough from me. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know the most excited you've been for a Smash character announcement. Did you have a reaction that made your neighbors think a crime was being committed? And if you have any recollection of seeing the ESRB leak when it dropped, let me know as well. I'm interested to know your perspective on the matter. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe so you're notified when I upload next. We're getting closer to my goal of 10,000 subs by the end of the year, and I could not be more grateful for your support. I'm also grateful for the support of my channel members, to play in Polygloom my legendary Blade members, a Float Sign my rare Blade member, and Jim Jam my common Blade member. Also, at the tail end of editing this video, FableDearB became a common Blade member as well. Thank you guys so much, I really appreciate your help, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!